Alright, so I know some people who have probably just bought a PS2 have no idea how to work it with their new TVs because newer TVs don't support old AV cables like that. And if you are that person, I'm going to explain to you this video, to you how to do that, to plug in a PS2, hook it up, get it to work, all that stuff. And to all those people who are just trying to get the part where like I actually plug it in and how to showing you how it works to plug it in, only watch like the first half of the video, because the second half is going to be for like the people who have zero understanding of PS2's consoles, gaming in general. And that'll just be explaining absolutely the simplest things. So just don't even watch that video if you already have understandings of that, like how to open your game, place it in the thing right, and use your controller. Alright, so on with the video. First of all, if you're going to have a PS2, you should at least have a controller so you can play. You know, that's pretty useful. Now, anyone who uses a wireless controller, it's a knockoff, don't worry, they're much cheaper. You're going to be confused by this. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what is this? Why do I need it? Why is it connected to my controller? Why can't I unplug it? That's not how that works. Wireless controllers didn't exist back in the 2000s when this came out. So you have to plug it in, your controller. So the arrow right there should be pointing up. And when you plug it in, it should go right into there. So plug it in like that. You should feel, you'll know when it's in there because it won't move anywhere. And your controller won't do anything once it's plugged in because nothing should happen. And if it does, that's probably not normal. And if you're going to save your games, you're definitely going to want to have a memory card. Now this one is third party. It was like $10. It has 256 megabytes. So I bought this one, and it's so much better than just having like the 6 kilobytes or whatever is in the old ones. You'll find that it's pretty similar to what you just plugged in. But with this one, it's gonna go in the slot that says memory card. Now you might be confused as to why it doesn't have the prongs sticking out. Now that it just goes in. So you'll grab this, and then you'll plug it in, push it in. You'll know when it's in, because you can't push it in anymore. And then after that, here comes the fun part. You're going to go around to the back of your PS2. You're going to see some plugs and cords and holes and stuff that makes a whole bunch of nonsense. You're going to grab the cord that looks like this. And then you are going to plug it into the hole up here. This one. Right there. So, once you're done plugging that in, you'll grab the next cable that looks like this. It should not, you don't plug it in like this. The arrow on top needs to go above. That needs to be pointing upwards. And it's going to go into this plug right here. Just like that. Okay, so with that first plug, you're going to want to hold up. You're going to want to grab this. Now, for most people, you already know where this goes. You plug it in. You plug it into your outlet. Your TV also has to be plugged in. You'd be surprised how many people I've seen don't do that. Alright, so you see right up here on the power button, there's no red light. And you may be confused. Shouldn't there be a red light? Not yet. There's a switch. You have to flip that switch for it to get power. And since the red light's on, you can see that it's getting power now. Now, here comes the confusing part. You're going to want to grab your TV, turn it around. Make sure that your TV has these ports. It has to have either the yellow, the white, and the red, or like back here, the the blue, the green, and the red, because those work too, I'm pretty sure. Now, once you've done that, you'll grab your AV cables, bring them round back. Now, colors go into the things. Alright, so yellow. That would go into the yellow port. White cable goes into white hole. Red cable goes into red hole. Alright, so now that you can go on to the next part. The fun part. You're gonna flip your TV around, make sure everything's nice and straight, your PS2 looks nice, because you're gonna have people over here wanting to play it, so you wanna make sure it looks good. On like that. You're gonna want to turn on the TV, doesn't matter how, if you have a remote or just press it from the side, you can do either one. Wait for your TV to turn on. Make sure the channel's on AV. And then you're gonna press the button. The PS2's loud, that's normal. That's what it should do. And that's also very loud. But that's also normal, surprisingly. Once you get to here, there's a few extra things I'll show you. That's the main part. Anyone who just wanted to know how to plug it in and turn it on and stuff, that's for you. Now, for the people who don't know how to use simple mechanics of this stuff, I will show you absolutely everything you need to know about your PS2. So, controller. How to use it. The most confusing part of any PS2 controller is the analog button. The original PS1, the PlayStation, it didn't have these. The original controllers didn't have the joysticks. So this part is to turn that on and off. So, if the red light's off, that means these things are not in use and you don't need to use them. If the red light is on, that means you are able to use them and you should be using them. So, you can turn it on and off if you want to. And you can also, like, if you want to turn it off, that would mean you're going to have to use the D-pad to move around. But if you want it on, that means you're gonna you can still use the D-pad even if it's on. So that's why I just always leave it on with every game. You can still use the joystick to do. So, if you have a Japanese, this is for American specifically. X is always going to be your confirm button. O on the PS2, I'm not really sure. That kind of differs. Square differs. Triangle's always back. Now, if you have a Japanese version, circle and X will be switched out. O will usually be confirm, and X will usually be no, and back and stuff. And the top buttons, 2, 1, 1 and 2 on each one of them. This is L2 and R2 and L1 and R1. So those are your top buttons, which you use for. Now, if you're ever playing one of the games and you see that it says press R3, you're going to press the joystick down like this. And it's going to make a click noise. And same with this one, it can do that. That would be L3. That's very confusing for any little kids who have these, especially me. I was so confused when I first got that. So, that's everything about your controller that you need to know. You cannot unplug it for any of the wireless controller usefuls. And if you do unplug it, it shouldn't be unplugged. You have destroyed your controller. Sorry to say it. If you want to have it in sideways mode, like if you want to have your PS2 sideways, you can move that side to side like that. If you're wanting to change your game, press the open button. That will open the disc tray where you put your games in. I'll explain that later. To close it, you press the same button. Now, here. So, if you're looking for like a specific something, I'll show you the cool stuff in here. Go into browser. Now, as you can see, it says right there, memory card PS2/1. That means the PS2 or I mean not PS2, the memory card I have will save PS2 games and PS1 games. That shows right there that that's a PS2. Your memory card, you can check all your save data by pressing X, or if you're Japan, by pressing O. It will show you all your games, how much space you have free. I have a lot free, obviously. And I have Burnout 3, your system configuration, Madden, GTA 3, Pac-Man World 2, and Midway. Now, press triangle to check your options on those specific games. You have to go over the game, press options, and it will show you options on them. If you want to delete it, you press X on it. You can copy it, or you can delete it by using the D-pad to select which one. Yep, that's how that works. And here's something a little weird that most people don't know, I think. I don't know. I didn't know it for a while. That if you put a game in while you're in this area... Hold up. Let me grab the game. If you grab the game, this is for another, like, unknown about... Well, not really unknown. It's just for the people who don't know much. So you put your disc in. It has to be slid in kind of like that. Otherwise, it'll get stuck on the top. Art is upwards. The gray part should never be on top. It's always on bottom. Once it's in, you put it in. Mine takes forever to load. I don't know if yours does, but it does for me. Mine, it'll say reading disk. After it's done saying reading disk for a little bit, a disk will appear. You're able to, it says PlayStation 2 disc. You can press X on your controller to select that game. You can't put more than one game in there. The fat PS2, you can see this is the big one. If you have the slim version, it can play PlayStation 1 games, but this one cannot play PS1 games. It can only play PS2. I think any PS1 game I put in here has not worked. You can't play PS3 or PS4 or PS5 games in here either, because that makes sense. Well, it does make sense. That makes the most sense of most things. Now, by pressing O to go back into system configuration, there's some extra stuff. You can adjust the time. That's the date, just in case anybody wants to know. You can pick the screen size, like full, or you can have 16 by 9 or 4 by 3. Full is the best option in my opinion because I like it. Digital output optical, that will change like something, I assume. I don't see much of a difference, but some people might. RGB, I don't know what this does. I think it changes actually like how the video looks, but I don't see a difference, so I just keep it at RGB. Language, you can obviously change it to whatever language you have: French, Spanish, German, Italian, Dutch, Portuguese, and back to English. And then that's all your options there. Display, I'm not really sure what that does. Oh, okay. So when you press square to display, it will just show this. So it's kind of like leaving your tablet on or phone on like a screensaver mode, I guess. But yeah. If you want to play your game, it won't automatically load here anymore. You'll have to go back into your browser option to play your game. And just play the game. That's mostly everything that you need to know. But there's one other thing. Press that to get your game out. Take it out, set it somewhere. You can grab a DVD. Any DVD will work, such as the entire 4th season of SpongeBob SquarePants. You can put it in. This part gets confusing. You'll press the button to put it in, and you'll wait for it to load. Now, pressing O, and placing it back into the main menu, waiting for it to load, which will take forever with the PS2. Don't know why. Just wait for the movie show SpongeBob 4th season, whatever you're watching, to load. And once it loads, the screen will go black. That's normal. That's good. I hope. And just wait. Because this part confuses me. Now, as you can see, this is a family-friendly enough movie that it's not going to ask for a password. No, don't worry about that. Hold on. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Some movies that, like, if you're watching a movie rated anything more than, like, PG-13 or G, I believe, it will ask you for a password. If you don't know your password, you can search up a video on YouTube, because I don't know how exactly to change the password. But there's a certain code you have to you have to put in on your controller to change the password. And usually I just set it to 0000, or I turn it off. But as of right now, I have it set to 0000. And all you'll have to do is just type it in on the PS2 keyboard, and then you'll be good. I'm pretty sure that's all that you need to know about the PS2. Everything about it. And that's all, so see ya.